In this video, we're going to show how to solve for a certain variable, and we have done this before. And a reason that we want to be able to solve for a variable, in this case, solve for y, is because once we get this solve for y and get our line in the form of mx plus b, a lot of us already know that the slope of a line, when it's in this form, is m. So whatever number I have for m that multiplies times x, that's my slope. And a lot of us know that the y-intercept of a linear equation, the y-intercept, remember on resource page 25, we looked at when we graph a line that our y-intercept is where our line touches the y-axis. And then our x-intercept is where our line touches the x-axis. And we know that once we get our line into this form, that our b value is our y-intercept. So that just means what we need to do is to solve this equation for y. So to do that, we're going to think about if we plugged in a number for y, what would be the things that we do to that number? And then how do we undo those things to solve? Solving will be the steps that we take to get y by itself. But let's just imagine we had a number for y and we plugged it in. If we plugged a number in here, then the next thing we would do right next to this is -2. And a number next to a variable means it needs to be multiplied. So we would multiply whatever number we plugged in here for y times -2. Then what is the next closest operation? Subtracting. So we would plug in a number, we would multiply it by -2, and then we would subtract whatever this number is. This number is 4x. Minus 4x is the next thing that we would do if we plugged a number in. The reason we went over this is so we can figure out how we solve for y. We need to do the inverse operations of these operations to solve for y. Okay, so the inverse of subtracting 4x is adding 4x. So let's add 4x to both sides. So underneath 4x here, I'll add 4x. And then over on the other side, I'm not going to put it underneath the -8. I'm going to make some space for it over here. Because -8 and 4x are not like terms. This has a variable, this does not. So they can't just combine. You can't say -8 plus 4 is -4. Okay, so it was add 4x to both sides. So now -2y is still there. -4x plus 4x is 0. So this is 0. So we can think of that as being canceled. We don't have anything there. -2y is all that's left on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we still have -8 here. And now we just added something else. We added 4x. Like that. This step is done. Now we want to think about doing the inverse of multiplying by -2. The inverse of multiplying is dividing by -2. And that should make sense because if I divide -2y by -2, I get -2 divided by -2 is 1. So 1y. I get y equals. So divide the other side by -2 like that. And we get -8 divided by -2 is +4. We get +4x divided by -2 is -2x, -2x, like that. So we can say y equals 4 minus 2x. And you also know that This is add 4 and then subtract 2x. So we could also write this as y equals negative 2x plus 4. We were just putting the slope and x as the first term and then putting plus 4 after it. So switch the order here. The negative is on the 2. The positive is on the 4. This is helpful because now we are in the form of mx plus b. Our slope, the number that we multiply by x, is negative 2. Our y-intercept is this number. This number. And you can also think of it as this number. So this is y equal 4. So the coordinate is x comma y, 0 comma 4. So this is the process of how to solve for a variable to go from negative 2y minus 4x equals negative 8 to just y equals something. In this case, y equals negative 2x plus 4. And it's helpful that you're able to do this so that it's clear for you to identify the slope and the y-intercept of your linear equation.